So, oh.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mimelech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I invite you to join us just in the Nigun. Yai lai 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 lai, ya la lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, lai 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 lai, ya la lai lai lai, ai lai 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 lai, ya la lai lai lai, ya lai lai. Reb Nachum of Tefansky surprised his Hasidim in the Beit Midrash one night during Hanukkah. Instead of finding his students deep in the study of Torah, he found them equally engrossed in a game of Chinese checkers. Embarrassed at their game, the Hasidim made to put the pieces away. When the Rebbe smiled and had them to set up for a new match. Do you know the rules of this game, he asked them? No one say a word. Good, the Rebbe said. Then, I will share them with you. First, you sometimes have to sacrifice one piece in order to gain two. Second, you may never move two spaces at once. Third, you may only move forward and never backward. And fourth, when you have reached the top, you may move anywhere you like. Looking from one face to the other, he added, and the rules of this game are the rules of our game as well. In Shabbat, we sacrifice the focus in our daily errands in order to gain the chance to enter in the world of time. We acknowledge that the clock of our lives never goes backwards, and that every second is unrepeatable. So in Shabbat, we stop fighting the clock, and we rather embrace and celebrate time. We reach a top that allows us to observe our lives and to choose again and again where we really, really want to go. I'd like to start this Shabbat service lighting Shabbat candles on page 120. I'd like to invite all the dear ladies that participated in our Israel experience just a month ago to introduce Shabbat to this sacred space. I like to say that it is not so easy to welcome Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Good job, guys. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. How are you? You got the haircut. Shabbat Shalom. O source of light and truth, Creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find the knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of peace and love, and trying to embrace that love that we perceive in Shabbat. Is that we can say, Ani ledodi, bedodi li, I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine, at the top of page 129. Min hamidbar. Ay, ay, ay. Dodili. Bahanilo. Aroe. Basho. Shanim. Dodili. start our Kabbalat Shabbat, trying to open our hearts to the experience of the deep joy. Lechun ranena la'Adonai, the top of page 130.
Lechun ranena l'Adonai, Naria letzor yishenu,
Shabbat Shalom. If you don't say that, it doesn't happen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Yai, yai, yai. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat is the opportunity to listen carefully to each of the parts that compose who we are, to recognize each of the sounds that compose the melody of who we are. Sambrula Adonai Bechinor on page 134.
Samru l'Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzot v'kol shofar, harihu lifnei hamelech Adonai. Lifnei Adonai
compare Shabbat with a queen, and we welcome Shabbat as a queen in our lives and in this room. We welcome Shabbat as a sacred presence that changes everything. Here at TBT, we sing the first, the second, the fifth, the sixth, and the ninth verses of Lecha Dodi. Let's welcome the queen, let's welcome the bride on page 138.
Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 לקראת כלה. Ya la 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 פני שבת. פני שבת נקב אליי.
Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 לקראת כלה. Ya la 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 פני שבת. פני שבת נקב אליי.
שמוי וזמור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני
בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. אוי אוי, תוך אמוני הסגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And now that we have welcomed Shabbat, we would like to encourage you to welcome each other, to turn to a person sitting next to you, and even to stand, and to go to somebody who is sitting somewhere else, and to say Good Shabbos, and to welcome him, her, into our community, and to say hi, and to actually smooth for a couple of seconds. How? You see, I told once that when you turn, when a bride is coming, you don't sit immediately. You stay for a few more seconds, and that's the gate for starting to dance, and then you dance with the bride. That's a great mitzvah. Good Shabbos, welcome. Shalom, shalom. It's been a while. How you doing? Shalom, ladies. Shalom, how are you? It's been a while. Come. Shalom, distinguished. It's good to see you. Thank you. For what?
Pull this off your face a little bit. It's crackling and staticky.
Okay. Now, huh?
Come here. I just checked the mixer. It sounds weird out here.
Really?
Let's try that for a little bit and see.
No, it falls.
It fell off. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
And after welcoming each other and welcoming Shabbat, we continue our service by granting Shabbat, by gifting Shabbat, a wonderful song, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, on page 140.
Shabbat Tov lehodot l'Adonai ulezamer l'shimcha elyon ulezamer l'shimcha elyon להגיד בבוקר חסדך בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון בשיבה דשנים ברעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולת הבור.
On page 144, we separate between Kabbalat Shabbat and Arvit Shel Shabbat with Chetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה
Amen.
בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולם והוויה יתברך ויסתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתעשה ויתהדר ויתהלל שמי לקודשם אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה דוש וחדה ונחמתה תמירן ועלמה ואמרו אמן.
Let us bless, please rise on page 146 for Baruch Hu. Seated. Please join me on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe,
who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'arif aravim.
Then on page 150 for Avat Olam.
Avat Olam, Beit Israel. עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגלה יומם ולילה.
And just before we move into the Shema, in Shabbat we dedicate to ourselves a real moment to listen. Try to connect with our souls and with our deep desires. We try to connect with those things that make us feel loved. We call it Onek Shabbat, the pleasure of Shabbat. And I invite you to picture for a couple of seconds, to bring to your mind the things that make you feel loved. Try to focus on your breath. Neshima, breath in Hebrew is neshima. And in your neshama, your soul, take a deep breath. And become one. Dear God, never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch Ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Israel. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. I'd like to invite to chant with us and for us on page 154. We have a microphone here working?
Maybe.
Not yet.
Okay.
Now it's working. You can let her start and then you can join her after a couple of seconds. But don't start before she does.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך בשנת חתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלבתך בדרך ובשופך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אמת באמונה כל סוד וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו, וזולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. We continue with the silent reading over page 156. When your children witness your presence, they praise your name in gratitude, and they accepted your sovereignty. Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices with joy. Who is like you, O God? Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, on page 158. Yalai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, lai, dai, lai, dai, ai, dai, dai, dai. Ai, dai, 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 dai. Ai, dai, 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 dai. Ai, dai, dai, dai. Ai, dai, 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 dai. ונאמן כפרי יעקב, וגאלו ביחסק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Israel. And after the blessing for redemption, Mikamocha, we ask for the strength and the inner peace to meet each other. Here at TBT, we sing an alternative version to Ashkeveinu, and we mix that afterwards with Ashkeveinu. You can find that in the additional pages that you had next to your Sidurim, or you can sing alone if you don't have the pages. But it's easy. So you can follow Gabby if you don't have the pages.
Easier, Gabby could do it. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will say one day, one day, one day, one day, one
Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel. The shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over your holy city, Yerushalayim. Baruch atah, Adonai, הפונה סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
One day, one day, one day, one day.
Before moving into the Amida, we remember transgenerational Shabbat in our lives. And maybe on that way to keep our lives. On page 162, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת.
דורותם ברית עולם,
Page 371, we raise a prayer for those that are dealing with illness. We remember the members of our congregation, we remember friends. And we die for all of them. But we remember them personally. So if you'd like to share a name, please do so. We bring all of them to our hearts and to this space. We die for all those that are dealing with illness in their bodies, with illness in their spirits. We die for those that are dealing with addictions. Mishe Berach on page 371.
Mishe
רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, a complete recovery from heaven, and a fast and complete recovery, רפואה שלמה and החלמה מהירה. So today, family service, we have two blessings that we had, and I'd like to invite the president of our congregation that came back after all his journeys, and he's you, Henry, come. It's you, it's still you. I'd like to invite the president of our congregation that came back after all his journeys, and in another 5 minutes you are leaving again. So we need to use you when you are here. Yes, you're going to be a reader. So wait a second. Let me see that we are fine. I once made a mistake. I made somebody
Don't ever do that again.
I made somebody to read a different blessing. I said, this is here, and I didn't check. And all of a sudden, I was in the middle of the blessing and realized that person was saying something else of what we were supposed to. So we did two blessings. We did two blessings that day. But no, for sure, this is for our congregation, for our congregation, for the country, and for the state of Israel. So you go for the three of them.
Okay. Source of all being, may
Yeah.
the children.
You're on page 516. You can join him. So then you feel lonely. You know.
Okay, source of all being. May the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion in prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
For our country. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire. To unlock
Like the fetters, should we all sing?
Yes,
Say
yes.
this?
Sure.
Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore their own kin. If you banish the yoke from the midst, and the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness.
And for the state of Israel on page 517, together.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath your wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Thank
you.
You can stay here because it's your anniversary. So I'm going to invite all those that are celebrating an anniversary or a birthday. That's it. An anniversary or a birthday to come forward to this area of our sanctuary to let us know and to share some of the simchas with the community. So Pesach, you too. We start with you. Is anybody else coming? No. Elisa, it's very nice of you. I'm Marlene. Look at this. People are starting to remember. I actually got married 40 years ago today. I got married. It was your birthday. Okay. Is anybody else celebrating something like an anniversary or a birthday? Okay. So you can. If you repent afterwards, let us know. Okay, I explain to you what is the methodology. You say, I am Barbara Rosen, and this is what I am celebrating. Yes. It has been for years that way.
I'm celebrating everything. Yes. I'm Barbara Rosen, and I'm celebrating my 39th birthday.
Mazel tov. What is next?
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Pesach Hananya. This past 4th of July, I hit my 9 years with my partner Kimiko.
Oh, Mazel tov. Congratulations. So he's serious.
I'm David Lieberman, and on the 31st of this month, I'm celebrating my birthday, 59.
Mazel tov.
I'm Susan Schultz, and on the 24th of this month, I will be 4 times high. My name is Steve, and on the 29th of this month, I will be 7. I'm Eileen Cohen, and I'm celebrating my 25th anniversary for the 2nd time.
And I'm Henry Cohen, and on July 8th, which is Saturday, tomorrow, I'm celebrating 50 years with my partner, Eileen.
Yafé, congratulations.
I'm Melissa Goldman, and on Sunday the 9th, I will be 37.
Mazel tov. So in Judaism, you can hold it for a couple of seconds. You can sing with that. So every time that we achieve a new time, we have the tradition. In Judaism, we celebrate time. Time works with us. We treasure time. So we say, Sheheyanu v'kimanu v'gyanu l'azman hazeh. We give a blessing for the opportunity that we have in this life to share this time. Please join me. For many, many more years. Congratulations. You can break lines. You can break lines. Thank you very much. Mazel tov. I want to acknowledge that I think this is the first time that the mic worked in a family service. So, Sheheyanu as well. So let's mark this date in our calendars as the first time that it actually happened. It was so smooth. Zach, that was awesome. That was really, really awesome. I was thinking about sermons, and I recall something in our trip to Israel. I prepared for each of our Torah portions. We had two. I prepared a little sermon. And I remember myself in the first week coming into the bus and looking at my fellows. And I saw them, and I recall a passage, a sentence that says, Rachem al amcha Beit Israel. Be merciful of the Jewish people. And I decided that I wasn't going to share them. and I made that decision twice. So we just came up to the bus. I look at you and say, they don't need any more Torah. But we are done with the trip. So, and this is time, and you heard Torah from many other thinkers, and that was awesome. So we came back, and we are now together here at TVT. So it's nice to see all your faces in the service. It's very nice to recognize you also as a group, and it's a very nice opportunity to be all of us gathered as community. And for those that have hearing disabilities or some trouble, hear me. I give to David. Yeah, so let's say he's younger. So so if you have hearing disabilities and you need or some accent problems, you can follow along in the paper, but I ask you to deliver them very quietly, to deliver them very, very quietly. So let's try to summarize in 3 or 4 sentences a great Torah story. Balak, the king of Moab, sends his emissaries to call the prophet Bilam to curse the people of Israel. On the way to do that, Bilam is warned by his she-donkey, who sees before Bilam does the angel that God sends to block their way. 3 times from 3 different places, Bilam attempts to say his curses. Each time, blessings issue forth instead. One of those blessings that he said while he was trying to curse the people of Israel is, Ma tovu oalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. How wonderful, but actually the word tovu, tov, means good. How good are your tents, Jacob, your houses, Israel. And you might ask, what did he see? What that was, which thing was so good about the people of Israel? Rashi explains that he saw that they pitch of their tents, they pitch their tents so the doorways should not be opposite to each other. On that way, they respected each other's privacy. So think about it. What a wonderful picture. The people of Israel that have organized a system that, on the one hand, congregates them, but on the other hand, recognizes individualities and respects privacy. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Israel. How wonderful, how good are your tents, O Jacob, your houses, Israel. In the Haftarah for Parashat Balak, the prophet Micah reprimands the Jewish people for ignoring God's law. Surprisingly, they quickly agree that they have sinned, and they ask him what they could do to fix the situation. They ask in Micah 6:7, so chapter 6, verses 6 and 7, with what shall I come before the Lord? Bow before the Most High? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with yearling calves? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with myriad steams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? Just tell us. But they seem to be missing the point. They seem not to understand the meaning of good. So Micah goes on and says, as we repeated in Mahon Harman a month ago, he has told you, O men, what is good and what Hashem demands of you, but to do justice, to love loving kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. To walk humbly with your God. Being a good Jew apparently isn't about how many hours you pray, and even not about how you divide the kotel or perform conversions. The Kotzer Rebbe once was asked by a student, "Who is a good Jew?" The Rebbe replied, "Anyone who wants to be a good Jew." Simple. The student looked puzzled and asked, "Who wouldn't want to be a good Jew?" The Rebbe replied, "That's easy. Someone who thinks he is a good Jew already." The essential difference between the Matovu, the good of Bilam, and the Matov, the good of Micah, is that one. As an outsider, is that one, as an outsider, is looking at a model of perfect good, a final product. The other one understands the internal challenges that we are facing, understands and embraces the process of perfecting, of bettering, of doing good in order to become good. Perhaps that's the secret of how to become a good Jew, to deeply understand that there is no final product, that we are always in the process of bettering ourselves, and that the best tools that we have and the real blessing are doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly with our beliefs. Shabbat Shalom. We continue our service on page 586 with Aleinu Leshabeach. Please rise. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו השמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו לגובי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אילות, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, קקעתו ותורתו וידעת היום, ואשר באת אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו, לתקן עולם במלכות שדי. And now, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ויום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. There's something funny about us Reformed Jews. There's one time in our prayers that the concept of Tikkun Olam appears, and it's in the Aleinu, and we actually skip that part. And at this point of our service, we recognize dear people that we miss, dear souls of our congregation that have a yahrzeit this week.
Sally Kobrink, Rochelle Lubin, Aaron Siverson, Greg Spielger, Jack White, Maurice Kaplan, Robert Letwin, Stephen Silverstein, Vitrio de Girolamo, Paul Gueron, Stuart Kahn, Tamara Levine, Leo Rosenberg, Harry Rothman, Esther Katz, Marvin Cash, Denny Mell, Beverly Sands, Stephen Schneider, Norman Shamus, Harold Solomon, Stuart Berger, Susan Cooperman, Salman Lumi, Hannah Gray, Harry Becker, Silver Dayan, Warren Hyman, Charlotte Abrams, Carol Grumet, Shirley Sheffs, and Jacob Sorani. And Shlosim, the first 30 days, Lenore Freilich, mother of Mark Freilich, Barrick Duquitzi, sister of Shirley Boehm, and Rosalind Smith, Elaine Oss's Machatenista. And if you don't know what that means, it's Elaine's daughter's Leora's mother-in-law, Aviva's mother-in-law.
If you are during the first, and Ellen Rose, sister of Linda Irvin. If you're doing the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise. If you are doing the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, please rise. If you are doing the first year of mourning, please rise. If you have a yahrzeit this week, please rise. Now you can support our fellows while standing or sitting, joining us with your voices and your hearts for Mourners Kaddish on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותי, בימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, באמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה, להילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תוש בחתה ונחמתה, דהמירם בעלמה באמרו אמן. שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל באמרו אמן. May their memories be for a blessing. זיכרונן לברכה. You may be seated. A couple of things to share before we conclude our service. First, to acknowledge some of the activities that our youth group had last week. We have a parallel minyan in Huntington Beach, led by Ali and company, and a couple of nice pictures running on Facebook. So, are they on Facebook or I saw them somewhere else? Okay, so we saw a couple of nice pictures. I'm sure they will be in our scroll. So look for the scroll and you'll see some of the nice activities that Ali, our youth advisor, is running. In one of them, you went together with Rich Waters Park. You went with Gabi. I don't get the name. Forget it. I just don't remember that. I don't remember the name. The one with the waters. So they went to a park with Waters, and all of them came back safe, so that was awesome. There was somebody who was very preoccupied about children and water together. It was me. They came back without major damage, and so it was awesome. That was awesome. That was really good. So, shout my Jewish concerns. So we are having wonderful activities, and next month Ali's not going to be here. She's going to be in Scotland playing flute all over that little country. It's a big country, right? What? You're going to be playing flute in Scotland and France, so we want to miss you. And in the meanwhile, Sarah and Elba will play like 3 people. So don't worry. Don't worry. Do we have more announcements, Miriam? Yes, last thing. Max is here, so Max and company, thank you so much for the hard work you did. Now, what? I say Max and company, but we recognize each of them, but we recognize also your and Eric's leadership. So we are going to do not just that, we want to acknowledge that the way in which we acknowledge things in our communities by calling people up to the Torah and by doing extended Kiddush. So we make sure that we celebrate that on August 12th. Right, so we are going to recognize and to call up for Aliyah La Torah, our volunteers for Capital of Aliyot La Torah, our volunteers on August 12th, so save the date. And I think that's it, we can conclude. So if you want to go to the sky what? The sky slide. The sky slide. Okay. So you can join Ali and the teens and participate on that. We are going to conclude our service with Ine Matov Manaim, celebrating this space that we create together as a community. Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.